Hey guys, you're welcome to Waves Africa Developer Channel where we educate Africans on how to build dApps and write smart contracts. And today we are talking about something very important on the Waves blockchain. It is something that actually makes Waves blockchain standard among other blockchains. It is about the Waves sponsored transactions. Previously on our other videos, we talked about different kinds of transactions. And today we'll be looking deeply into the Waves sponsored transaction, how it works, and how it can be implemented. Actually, it is a very nice feature and it can be put into work and a lot of instances and use cases for businesses and developers. So let's just quickly get started with this topic. First, we'll be looking at what is sponsor fee transaction, just transaction sponsorship, either way, they are same thing. And we'll be understanding how this concept works and how to implement this transaction sponsorship. All right. So the first thing we'd love to understand to make you known is that uh, the sponsored fee transaction, just like every other transaction, the transfer transaction, asset issue transaction, there are about 16 transactions currently on the Wiz blockchain, and the sponsored fee transaction is the type 14 transaction. So what does it do? The sponsored fee feature enables users to pay commission for transaction using a custom asset on the Wiz blockchain. The Wiz blockchain has a utility token called Waves, and it is used to run, it's like the fuel of the blockchain, and is used to run pay for activities and commission on the Wiz blockchain. But recently, the Wiz team brought in this feature in a situation for special reasons anyway, a lot of reasons. So when the feature came on board, it will enable the users who don't have Waves in their own account to pay commission fees. All right, but we are going to explain how it works because originally it's the Waves token that is used to pay for this commission. Something actually goes on behind the scene. So first of all, let's look at the use cases. You can use this feature to implement a free trial mode for your dApps. Currently on the Web 2.0 is mostly with your debit card, which is very not convenient for some person. Someone like me, I don't like entering my card details to test out the software. Just that's the personal thing anyway. So also this feature breaks the barrier of convenient entry for new users to test your dApp. If you're a developer, this feature will enable anyone to use your dApp without needing to go and buy Waves token somewhere else, buy from an exchange and all of that. So it can just make things easy for you. Also, this feature gives a kind of certain use case to customer sets on Wiz blockchain. Anyway, that's not the real intention why it was created, but it is something that can still happen. An asset can be used for transaction fee. It's a token asset, all right? So how does this stuff actually work? Before that, there are a lot of questions, and in the process of answering this question, I'll be discussing how the Wave sponsored fee transaction, how it works. Okay, first, how many tokens are deducted when a custom asset is used to pay for commission, and how can token sponsorship, can it be disabled? All right, who sponsors an asset? All right, now I'll quickly explain two different things here. When I say sponsored fee transaction, I'm referring to a type of transaction on the Waves blockchain. So when I say a sponsored asset, it means an asset which has sponsored fee sponsorship enabled on it. All right, so how does it work? As a token owner, you create an asset on the Waves blockchain. Don't worry, we are going to do a live practical immediately after this section. I'll be creating an asset and I'll be enabling it to be a sponsored asset, and we'll be trying to make a transaction and paying with it. Okay, so how it works is this: you as an asset issuer, you created a token. All right, now when you create this token, you need 0.001 waves to transfer to pay for commission. This is paid to the nodes that are mining this transaction. So waves, at least 0.001 waves is needed for you to pay for this transaction fee. All right, but for some newcomers who are not so familiar or they don't have a waves balance on their account, what can be done? All you have to do is, you as the token issuer, you just have to enable the asset uh, sponsored asset feature for this token. So when you enable this feature, it enables people to pay with your assets when they don't have waves. Now, that brings to that question we earlier asked in the previous slide that says, what happens? Remember, nodes and miners, they don't take custom assets. What they earn for mining blocks is waves. So what actually happens now, when you enable your asset to be a sponsored fee, it means that each time a user uses your asset to pay for transaction fee, now these transactions will be validated. The node is going to take this asset from the users and credit it to your own account and deduct the required waves to pay for the transaction. I'm sure that makes sense. Okay, so this is just the process. The user pays for a transaction fee, pays the transaction fee using your custom asset, the asset you created, and you enable these assets to be a sponsored asset. Now, when they pay with this asset, the node will collect this waves asset from them and credit it back to you. And the waves, the asset goes to you. You get the tokens. All right. Now, waves will be deducted from your own account. So for a transfer transaction, 0.001 waves will be deducted from your own account, who is the issuer of this asset, while the asset that the user used for making this payment is returned to your own account. Now, quickly, let's answer these questions. How many tokens are deducted to make transaction? How is it determined? How do they know how many fees they need to pay? They need how many assets they need to make a transfer transaction? It is you who is going to set this. So while you are making your asset a sponsored asset, in that process, you have to define how many of your asset is worth 0.001 waves. So that's how the node will be able to calculate these fees when they are using your sponsored asset. Can sponsored asset be disabled? Yes, you can decide to unsponsor your asset and it will become a normal asset. Also, who sponsors an asset? Only the issuer currently is allowed to sponsor an asset. All right. Now, how can this be implemented in real life? It can be implemented through two ways. The first one is the Waves Exchange, Waves.exchange. You open it up, log into your account, and you create an asset, or already existing asset can be made sponsored. Unlike smart assets, when you make it smart while creating it, the sponsored asset, even if you have created it before, you can enable it right now. So we can sponsor an asset by using the Waves Exchange and also by using the NPM library, the Waves transaction library. We are going to go through the two process right now, and it's going to make things clear for you. So guys, let's do it. So guys, we are here. Let's get started with the process. First thing is I want us to create an asset. Oh, come on, Waves.exchange. Okay, we have Waves.exchange here. All right, so we log in from here and okay. All right, so here we are. Let's quickly create an asset. This is the button, create an asset. Let's say with Africa. Okay, let's say Edu token. Okay, looking for illustrations on Waves Africa videos. All right, so this asset is, let's make 1 million of it. We say reissuable. Yeah, let's just leave it reissuable and 8 decimal places. Okay, this is the sponsored asset. No, we will not enable a sponsored asset. We'll say yes after reading through this. So we just need one waves to issue this transaction. Okay, here we are, generate. Okay, it pops up the waves, the waves keeper, sign. And once it's signed, I come here and I send in this transaction. All right. Uh, okay, token created, successfully created. All right, let's view details for this transaction. Completed. Let's view the transaction. Okay, so we just created this asset. This is the total supply, this is the description. Quickly, let's go back to this place and we're going to come back to dashboard and portfolio, edu token. So what we'll do, we'll come here and enable sponsorship. All right. So how many of this coin is equal to one Waves? Because this is the amount that is required to make a Waves transaction. Let's say 10 of Edu token is equal to this transaction, all right? So we still need one Waves. I think I have money. All right. Okay, guys, here we go and send this transaction. Perfect. The sponsorship has been set. That's it. Let's see, view this transaction. Okay. We got it. As I said, the sponsorship transaction is type 14, as you can see here. So the sponsored fee is this. So 10 Edu token is equivalent to 0.001 waves. You get it? All right. So that's that. So let's try this out now, trying to see if this is actually a sponsored asset, and let's see how it actually works. Let's go to, okay guys, so we are here. We have the token created, 1 million total supply, and oh, you can see this token is marked suspicious. Remember, while we are creating this token, we agreed not to use a name that is already existing for an asset on the Wiz blockchain. So the system automatically detects this and marks it as suspicious. But in this case, it doesn't have any way to affect what we are doing. So we just get on. Now remember here, we came here, this was how we enable the asset. So because this account is the issuer of this asset, you can still find the possible, you can see the feature of disabling this sponsorship right now, and you can also change sponsorship. It has to do with, you just change the rate at which your token is exchanged to 0.001 waves. That's not what we want to do. So let's see how quickly how this sponsored fee stuff, how everything works. I decided to create a new Waves wallet to help you quickly understand, and you could do this yourself. All right, let's create a new Waves account. uh, Sender one. Okay, we have an address sender one, so let's just move some sponsored assets to this address. So we have here, we paste the sender one address here and say send 100,000 tokens, and we are paying. You see, you can already send it, but we won't use this because this is the issuer's address. There's a wave, there's waves on this account, so we want to test it with an account that doesn't hold waves at all. All right, so we send, come here and sign this transaction and send. Okay, perfect. So it's already on its way right now. Okay, so let's switch the account and see if the waves, the edu token actually arrived. So make this sender one default, and we'll come over to this place to switch account. This is an amazing feature on the waves, that waves exchange. You can have more than more than one account on this same web client. You're going to import sender one. Perfect. All I do is I sign and I'm in portfolio. Okay, it's not showing up yet. Okay, we have it here. Like I said, don't mind this suspicious. Now you can see this account doesn't have waves. Originally, you need at least 0.001 waves to make a transaction. Okay, and if you look closely here, you could see a symbol. This symbol is uh, what symbolizes that this asset is a sponsored asset, a percentage symbol. All right, so let's make a transaction from this place. I would prefer we create a new account, fresh new account. Okay, said receiver 1. Okay, let's see sender 2. Sender 2. Perfect. Still going on. Okay, our address is up already. So pick sender 2's address and say let's send half of this payment here. Okay, come here and we have 50,000 tokens. Guys, can you see what's happening here? The system automatically picks transaction fee to be what 10% edu tokens, irrespective of the fact that this sender one address doesn't have waves, but it's able to make transaction. This is how the sponsored fee works. Okay, let's send it off. Sign, and all I do here is I send. Look at it, fee 10 edu token, because the issuer account said 10 edu token is equivalent to 0.001 waves. Now send. Boom. Transaction went on successfully without waves, without a single waves on your account, just because this asset is sponsored. Now we can check this address if it actually arrived. What happened here? Get to Waves Explorer and waveexplorer.com, insert this address. Yes, guys, it worked. Let's look into this transaction closely. The transfer transaction is type 4. And you can see the block where the block that contains this transaction, and the amount that was transferred is 50,000 edu token, and the fee that was paid is 10 edu token. All right, the attachment was left empty. Now, if we should go back to the issuer account, should get back to the issuer account. The transaction went successfully. All right, it went successfully. Okay, now we have 900,000 edu token here. Okay, and you can see the amount of waves that is here. All right, now let's make another transaction, and let's use this sender account now. It has some few edu token on it, and let's send it back to this. All right, let's send to this receiver account. I'll copy, and here we switch. Oh, the account is not yet here, so we should just import it from wave skipper. Send that to. Perfect. Sign. We are in portfolio. Okay, there's 50k edu token here, and let's quickly send to this address too. As you can see, same thing. Let's say 25,000. It's paying with edu token, even while there is no waves on the account. You can see I'm successfully making my transaction, and I'm paying with 10 edu tokens. All right, so let's observe something here. Remember how the process works. Okay, the waves would be deducted from this place. Let's copy the issuer asset creator. Go to our Waves Explorer. All right, you can see these transactions here, and once you open it up, you would see that 10 edu token was used to pay for the fees. All right, so this is actually how you implement the sponsored fee using the Waves exchange. So what we'll be looking at next now is you see, I was actually intended to help you see something here. Looking at it here is showing just 900k.00. This is the asset account. Now, if you look, when we view this account from the Waves Explorer and we hover, this place shows the transactions, and this place shows the assets that are on this account. Now look at this account. This place is showing us 200k because probably it's not up to probably 100 or 200. So it's not just 900k, sorry, not just 900k. When we look closely here, you could see these two figures, 20. Remember we made two sponsored transactions from the sender one account to the sender two account, and we send from the sender two account back to the asset creator account. And for each transaction, remember 10 edu tokens were deducted per transaction. So that resulted to us having extra 20 edu tokens on the issuer's account. Now, if we continue to do this process, like you can see here, okay, let's just go one more round and see what is happening. Let's switch this account over to sender 2. I hope it's selected here. Sender 2 is active here. Now, let's just pick any account and make a transaction to, let's send to this address. Let's send 1000 and we're paying with 10 edu tokens. Don't forget we have 900,020 tokens here. So we'll make this transaction again, a sponsor transaction. There is no waves, and 10 edu tokens are deducted from the sender 2. There's no waves here, and this waves is going to be deducted from, my friends, you can see the number increased to 30. Now the waves, if you observed this, the waves 0.001 waves is deducted from here. And once it's deducted from here, the 10 edu tokens which the user used for paying the transaction fee is sent back to the issuer account. So now we'll look at how to enable sponsored transaction using the NPM library for Waves transaction. Again, quickly before that, if you look here, you can find option to enable or disable asset sponsorship because this account is not the issuer's account. Okay.
So in this segment of the video, we're going to be enabling sponsorship for an asset using the Waves transaction library. So the Waves transaction library is an NPM package which allows you to interact with the Waves blockchain from your JavaScript application. So it exposes useful functions that allow you to interact, make transactions from your JavaScript application in the front end. So we're going to use this library as well as Jest. Jest is a testing library by Facebook. So we're going to use both of them in order to perform this demo to show you how to enable sponsorship transaction. So let's get right to it. So I have a basic application setup. So the most important part of this setup is the sponsor.test.js, which is just a file where we'll write our demo test in order to perform a sponsorship transaction. So you could see I actually commented out some stuff I would need, so I would not need to go copy them paste in order to not waste time. So we have the seed there and the asset ID and also the node URL for the Waves mainnet, which we're going to use. So let's get right to it. So the first things first is to import sponsorship and broadcast from the Waves transaction library, which we already have installed. Then next, we're going to create a variable that's going to hold our node URL. So I'm just going to quickly copy this, cut this out and put it here. So it should just be a string. All right. So this is for the mainnet. So if it was tested, it should be something else. But since we want to do this on the mainnet, this would be here we want to talk to. All right. So next is the jest test. So jest, the way we write test in jest is just test, then describe the test. So this is enabling sponsorship from JavaScript, something like that. So it's just the name to describe your test. Then here should be an async function. So it's an async function because we would be performing a network request. So those kind of requests should be asynchronous in nature. So we're going to test just that, okay, we're going to make some network requests here. So you're going to hold on until those network requests are done before you do any other thing. All right. So with that, we're going to need the seed, which is this. So I think I should just copy it, cut it. Okay. Yes. Then we also need the params, which the sponsorship transaction is expecting. So it's expecting asset ID, which is the asset ID of the token you want to use for sponsorship, which is this, which I already have here. So I've already created this asset on the Waves.exchange platform. And also, so the most important value it needs is the mean sponsored asset fee. So this is the mean asset fee that you want your token to be matched to Waves. So we're going to say 100 of this token should be matched to 0.001 Waves, which will be used for transaction fees. Okay. Then lastly, we're going to we're going to sign that transaction, sign sponsored, okay, sponsored TX. We're going to sign it like so. We're going to say sponsorship. So it's going to take in the params and also the seed. All right. Then lastly, we're going to broadcast it. So since broadcast is a network request, I'm going to wrap it in a try block. So I'm going to say try. I'm going to save in a variable d, which is the output broadcasted tx is going to be broadcast, and it's going to take two values, the transaction and the node URL. It's going to broadcast it to. So and since it's an asynchronous operation, I'm going to put the await keyword in front of it. So it's going to wait for this to be done before assigning it to this. And I'm just going to simply console.log broadcast txt. Okay. Then here I'm going to I'm going to put the catch block. So just in case there's error, we want to see what the errors are as well. So that is it. So this is going to this script here is going to, when I execute it, it's going to create a sponsored, it's going to enable sponsorship for this asset with this asset ID. So let's do that and let's see how it goes. So I'm going to run npm run test, which is how we run jest. So I already set that up in package.json here. So I say test is jest. So since I installed jest as a dev dependency, so this jest script is going to be made available for us. So the jest command will be made available for us. So I'm just going to run npm run test, and if everything goes as successfully as we expect, you should see the transaction data, the transaction JSON payload of this successful transaction. So if I run that now, Okay, it says broadcasted TS is not defined. Okay, so all right, so that's because I made a typo here. So I'm just going to quickly change that to broadcasted TS. And if I execute that again, I think that transaction already went through, but we weren't able to see it because I made a typo on the variable name. Yep, and there we go. So this is it. Successful transaction. So we got to see the minimum asset fee and the ID of the transaction. So let's quickly check this out. Let's check this out in, so it has a timestamp. So this transaction went through. So it's a type 14 transaction, which is sponsorship transaction. So this was successfully done. And if we check it out on the Waves exchange, you should be able to see that. Okay, let me quickly refresh this. Yes, and it's done. So you can see our sponsorship was made and it's done. So this is the sponsored fee. So this is how you enable sponsorship using the Waves transaction library from your JavaScript frontend.